But I got to tell you, the whole Uncharted style puzzle solving gameplay in a cave, like turning a 2,000-year-old crank. There's something about it that I was just like not enthusiastic about at all. I was like, this is a little
Man,
tedious.
every time in Uncharted, and like I feel like they eventually turn this into the joke of the game, but like you break into an ancient tomb, you like climb over these complex mechanisms, they crumble it to dust behind you. You're the
Yeah,
first person in there, and there's like 10 Nazis waiting ahead for you from like whatever bad guy
yeah,
bought the
yeah.
mercenaries that week. I'm just like, come on. Are we on? Is it happening?
We've been on. We just had the background on that said we'll be on shortly.
Oh, cool.
But
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
short period of time has elapsed, and
Has
now we are
elapsed.
fully online.
Sweet. So my job ends in 2 weeks, and I think I'm gonna give my 2 weeks notice today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a really, really bold move, huh?
So you're quitting the Trump administration,
I am quitting the Trump administration. Yeah.
and well, is a resignation from the Trump administration like you like go pack a cardboard box immediately and get escorted up by security, or is it more like, hey, I'm gonna resign
Mhm.
in 2 weeks when the whole company explodes?
So I saw at least Elaine Chao, who's the transportation secretary, resigned as well.
Yeah, are you googling this? Can I switch over and look at
Oh,
your win?
please! Oh,
Okay,
I'm not googling it all. I'm just
okay,
remembering from earlier.
okay. We don't
But
need to see
she
the game right
she
now.
she resigns next week. She gave 1 week notice, and she's like, "I'm going to resign before the inauguration."
Mrs. Mitch McConnell.
Mrs. Mitch
I
McConnell.
believe that's the chivalrous way of
Yeah.
her.
Or is he Mr. Elaine Chao?
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Elaine Chao, former transportation secretary under George W. Bush.
Oh, was she?
Yeah,
Hmm.
transportation or labor. One of those
Do you just
infrastructural sounding things that
do you
just
just move between the secretaries? Do they do anything? Like, do you need no expertise? I know you need no
don't really.
expertise because Pete Buttigieg is going to be our transportation secretary. So, like,
Is
of course
he?
you don't.
He's probably
He's the new
playing a
trans.
shitload of City Skylines now in preparation.
Maybe we can send him the Soviet worker simulator instead.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, wasn't his dad like a Marxist, something like
Gosh,
that?
really?
Yeah.
That's super funny. Woof. Yeah, it's sure been an interesting week since we last streamed 3 days ago.
You know, I will tell you this. I did find it the photo of the guy on Nancy Pelosi's desk with his legs up. It was pretty funny.
Okay, wait. To derive even more humor, are you familiar with Via Getty?
I'm not.
Ah, okay.
I'm
This
switching over
this
now. Yeah.
yeah, you should switch it over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Larger
Uh,
browser window, please. The world needs
yeah,
to
yeah,
know.
of course, of course.
Yeah.
You're familiar with this guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His name is obviously Via Getty because everyone was like, "We found him.
Okay.
Lock up Via Getty."
Yeah.
This image came from Getty Images. This is an attribution.
Okay. I see.
But it's like Twitter, a lot of people actually like were very convinced yesterday that this was the name of the person.
You know, I would actually say that unfortunate Ryan Lizza maybe should have thought about that tweet a little bit more. You know, the
I'm
English
not
language is
sure.
confusing. That is known as an appositive phrase or a renaming phrase where you use a
Mm-hmm.
comma, a comma separated chunk of words to rename the thing that preceded the first comma. Uh,
Appositive?
yes.
Apposition? Ah, nice. Is this like JFK, Stalin, and the Strippers?
Uh,
That's a different one. That's just a comma splice or
oh,
Oxford
you're
comma.
talking about like the eats, shoots, and leaves kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. You know what? I started using I think I'm notorious at work for having a bunch of Slack messages that say edited because I just like proofread after I hit enter. And I started. I decided to get a Grammarly account. I'm not paying for anything like that to see if that will help me. And we'll see how it works out.
So, does it read all your text?
Well, what you can do is you can just like copy and paste into their little interface.
Ah, okay.
And then I will say I should shout out our new blog post, but I used Grammarly to compose our new blog post, and I think I got a pretty high false negative rate because I like it didn't really tell me much that I didn't already know. Like it, I think I use commas in a way that Grammarly does not like. I use commas in a way that kind of emulates how I hear someone reading it out loud would sort of like insert pauses. That's just sort of how I think about it. But
That's just like writing in a colloquial fashion, though. Like
yeah, and
you're using
Grammarly
your
did
voice.
not like that. However, it did find a couple of times where I used the word the twice in a row, which is nice.
Oh, that's
They
very
said,
nice.
remove the redundant the, which is good. But it also has a hard time with other stuff as well. So still, jury's still out for you, Grammarly.
Well, this stream brought to you by Grammarly.
Yeah. But we do have a new blog post.
We do have a new blog post.
Yes.
And a slightly new website.
Oh yes. I do
Slightly
like
updated website.
You chose the off black very nicely, I would say. It is a handsome off black. Would you call it indigo or navy?
I would call it navy.
Yes.
Boy, I should check out the site on while it's streaming more because this is a little too wide. Let me just screenshot this for myself for later.
Okay.
Get out of here. Yeah. But yeah, we have an awesome new blog post.
Yeah. It's about actually just stuff you can see us doing live or build tools. People actually see it every. I think our Twitch crowd is actually more familiar with this content than our massive blog reading audience. But yeah, it goes into some more detail. I got a nice little UML timeline diagram there for those of you that are into that kind of thing.
It was really nice to see sort of just the coming together of like actually how much we've done, because like this game is pretty easy to develop.
It's not bad, right? And weirdly, I think it's actually a harkening back to an earlier phase of our relationship. Do you remember working on the hot module reloading for stuff we worked on the job at Chain?
Did we have to work much on the hot module reload, or
we did, right? Because we worked on the blockchain explorer.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And that, you know what, that was also pretty easy to develop on.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really kind of a throwback.
Crap, what was? I'm trying. Oh man, we had some good code names back then too. I really enjoyed. That was the heyday of my Chain years. Those were good times.
Yeah, it was good. Going to Vegas.
Oh, going to Vegas. Hot towels.
You didn't get to go to New York with us that one time, right? That was when you had been hired as a contractor.
I was just a contractor. I was working for myself, and I was like, oh man, it's really nice of them to invite me, but like I'm gonna go to New Orleans to see my parents instead.
That was a good
I
call.
had this trip planned. It was a good call, but you got to see Hamilton with the original cast, which was pretty cool.
You got dragged to Hamilton eventually, right?
I saw it in San Francisco, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, and it was great.
That's fine.
And Lin-Manuel is just a dude, so like
he's just a dude. He's just a dude rapping on the Hillary Clinton campaign trail.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing I probably missed out on the most was getting to hang out with Dave Matthews in the audience, like y'all did.
I didn't know Dave Matthews was at the audience. Who told you that?
He was sitting right behind y'all. He was like the row behind you was Dave Matthews.
What the fuck?
Ryan told me that.
That's crazy. Did Ryan accost him? He must have, right?
I think he said something. Yeah.
I wasn't Dave there. Matthews?
Knowing him, it was probably something very much like that.
I did sit next to a minor celebrity. The dude Zuko, what's his last name? Wilcox, maybe? Zuko of Zcash fame, the designer of Zcash.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's a very soft-spoken, kind person. Tried a couple different times to break the shell, break the ice a little bit. Couldn't quite do it, but I don't think he hated me, and I don't think he remembered me. So I'd say I came out of that.
That's a fine.
Good. That's pretty good. That's a successful night for me, I would say.
Sometimes when I interact with scientists who are really, really good at getting into the math problems, we don't always click, and that's okay.
Yeah, and you know, Zuko being this sort of like Venn diagram of like intelligent computer scientists and blockchain luminaries. That's a tough crowd. The center of that Venn diagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, speaking of blockchain luminaries,
Yes.
I guess you never had the pleasure of Interstellar. Um,
I.
lucky you.
Why do you mention that?
Well, because the founder of Stellar and Interstellar, Jed McCaleb,
Ah, yes.
yeah,
Uh,
just
uh,
sold four. Yeah,
Formerly of Mount Gox, am I right?
right. Formerly Mount Gox.
Yes.
So between forming Stellar and selling Mount Gox, right before Mount Gox exploded,
Yes.
he started Ripple,
Right.
and Ripple. He's always had like
Ripple of being sued by the SEC currently fame.
right, and he has
Yes.
like maybe 30% of Ripple
Oh.
to himself personally. So before they were sold by the SEC or sued by the SEC, it turns out he sold $400 million of Ripple for cash like a couple months prior. So that dude is the fucking master of escaping like disaster.
Yes. He's the Harry Houdini of cryptocurrency.
And yet that company
I'm
is
not
still
the
not
Harry
going. It's
Houdini
not
of
going nowhere.
anything. So you know what? Who am I to cast a jaundiced eye towards Jed
I was gonna say
McCaleb?
you're the Harry Houdini of not ending up in a weird startup with Jeff Caleb. You got out right in time.
Okay, fair enough. I like it. I appreciate you finding me my Harry Houdini category.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ah, alrighty. So should we GLSL?
Let's do it.
Okay. Um, so we both did some reading on how to do wireframe shaders.
Yes.
We both did some reading about just partial derivatives and F width and how that's all going to like theoretically come together in the end with maybe us having to derive some barycentric coordinates.
Yeah.
Um, would it be easiest to start from like, do we still have 3D.html in here?
I was about to suggest the same thing. No, I deleted it unceremoniously.
I'm gonna
However, it's
undelete
not
it.
that bad to spin up again. Um,
I was just gonna look for it in the history, but
okay,
yeah,
that's
that's
totally
true.
fine. Yeah. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I think if we don't, my whole mo of Jeff and Dom make a game is to basically forever not make the game, but make silly side tools, right?
Oh, great.
And write about them, right? And I had this idea of a tool that is a little bit like Shader Toy, but it allows
Mm-hmm.
us to write the vert shader and the frag shader, and presupposes a particular set of attributes coming into the vert shader. And it
Oh,
also has a camera set up on like a tank model, just like set up, or maybe there's a drop down that lets us choose models. But the idea there is that it'll kind of like live reload updates to the shader, uh, you know, as we edit it. Yes, something exactly in that category. Yep.
Yeah, except
You're
that
feeling me there.
it's flipping out on me, but otherwise I'm with you. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. And
Cool.
that will allow us to kind of play with the limits of what shaders specifically can do to help us solve the problem.
Yeah. Now going forward too, are we going to want to think about like for our shaders?
Yes.
I assume we eventually start stacking them, right? Like, would we want to be able to compose shaders? And is it like you run the same multiple shaders against the same geometry, a la that cyberpunk graphics thread, or is it like? I mean, some shaders are just decorative. Like I could see doing like a weather layer as a shader that takes no geometry but like just does some shit.
Yeah, I think the answer to the question is all of the
Both.
above, right? Yeah, like
Okay,
whatever we
cool.
want. Like you can send a bunch of attributes into one Uber shader that does a whole bunch of stuff. You can do multiple separate shaders that render entire full screens worth of stuff that then get combined
Hmm.
by something else. That particular technique is called deferred shading. At this point
Shading.
now,
Interesting.
it is like the dominant way of doing the deferred, meaning that you defer the composition of the final image till after you've done a bunch of like separate steps. And I'm guessing that uh, okay, here's me in my typical mode of talking out my ass, but I think it's a result of two different things. One, that there's just a shit ton of GPU memory available. Like starting 10, 12 years ago, you just had a lot of memory that you could mess with. So you could have like multiple frame buffers worth of stuff. Two is that I think people realized that, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like the do one thing well principle in programming, where it's just like, what if I just made a shader that did this particular aspect of the
Mm,
of the view well? It's easier for me to think about, easier for me to change, as long as I can composite everything in a logical way afterwards. That gives me more flexibility. Um, I'm guessing those are the engineering kind of considerations there. Who knows? Maybe from a graphics point of view, it's also a better way of doing it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
We may not be quite there yet, though. I don't know. We'll see.
I think probably not.
Yeah.
Man, do you remember when you got rid of this thing? Because I sure don't. That's too bad.
Yeah.
I liked it because we had a cube that was spinning, and it's really what I want for
we could do
the
git log search. I'd have to, we'd have to Google the syntax, but that's not the worst thing in the world.
Can you search git log for deletions?
Search for a file name. Yeah.
What? Come on, man. Are you kidding? All right.
And it was called 3d.html, precisely.
Oh shit. There's actually
remove
man,
old 3D example. You can see that commit 17BE.
Oh, there you go.
So just
I'm not gonna refer it. I'm just gonna pull it out of here and we'll start from scratch.
Perfect. Nice.
View file. Give me the raw. Alrighty.
That took a lot of clicks, but I'm glad that we have it. I'm glad that GitHub has that.
Yeah, as I recall, this file wasn't like the worst thing in the world. Let's stick it in tools. Might as well stick it in tools. Scratch pads. No, you know what? That's just a root thing. No tools. I hate cluttering up the root, but also this is not the most interesting thing in the world. Interestingly, how is Parcel still around?
Parcel is dead.
How do I run this?
Can I see 3d.html? Do we need Parcel? We don't need Parcel, do we? We just literally double click on the HTML file, right?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, you got me there.
That is beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we'll get a little more space on this one. It clearly doesn't live reload. And also, I think I would like maybe slightly less magenta.
let's let that chill.
Yeah, let's just let this give me a nice gray because I gotta stare at this all day.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, that's much chiller.
Look at those lights, man.
There's no light in this simulation.
There's no light. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. We just had a bunch of like. Okay.
The vertex color, I think, is just 0 to 1 increasing red.
Hilarious. So do we even have normals here?
That's a great question. No.
I don't think we do.
No, this is a positioning color buffer. So let's look at our... yeah, okay. So, no.
We could make the normals up, right? It's just really hard because I don't really remember how we ordered those. Did we copy this from that one example?
Oh, I bet we did, and that totally had normals in it, didn't it? MPL2 fundamentals.
It is called the state diagram. Yes. Hard to find, hard to Google.
They make you work for it.
Yes. I think some of these demos don't actually work.
It doesn't work in Safari at all, that's for sure.
Really?
Not that particular one.
What could they be doing in Safari? Hey, how is Chrome in Big Sur or on M1? Is it functional?
Oh, it's fine. Yeah,
it's fine. Okay, got it.
Yeah, well, and it's M1. Chrome is running on Apple architecture.
Okay.
Some stuff is still running on Intel architecture, mostly Adobe.
I would assume that the port of V8 is a lot harder than the port of any other piece of software because you actually have to jit out like native code, and the instruction sets are different, and then like essentially it's just like a different compiler. But they probably already had ARM. They probably already had an ARM64 version, right?
I think so, since Chromebooks and Windows for ARM already existed. Yeah, they must have like some ARM architecture targeting there, and just ran it through, yeah, whatever new compiler Apple put out.
Yeah.
So let's see. Hey, normals for the cube. That's so helpful.
Yeah.
Man, back when we did this, I didn't even know what normals was.
So just to make sure that we got the normals right, do you want to add lighting? So
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. So
maybe
actually,
the colors will be constant. Yes.
Yep. Let's make our colors just. Okay, wait. I'm gonna do this in maybe the least annoying for me way possible. All right, that's red.
Okay.
And then
how did that translate to red?
Sorry. This is the very silly color I wrote, but it was 1/24, 2/24, and this value is getting dumped into the red value.
Oh, it's red. The red coordinate. Okay, perfect. That's great. Okay.
This was a very silly day that we did this.
You know what?
It's great.
That was a silly day. Every day is a silly day, though. I had this moment today. I had a couple brain farts today. Okay. First of all, like I went out to go to the local Sweet Green to pick up lunch, and I walked, I want to say over halfway there, and I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask right now. So I walked.
Oh no, back. I have done that.
So I walked all the way back, making sure to. It's gotten to the point where like if I'm walking across the street and someone's not wearing a mask, I'm like, what's wrong with that person? And I was that person. So that was the first. The other brain fart that I had this morning, and I was like, boy, what did I do this weekend? Because last week at work it was pretty seemed like it was pretty long, and then I realized that there was no last week at work because last week we were off, which meant that I just like this week has felt like 2 full weeks with a weekend intervening. Like it's just felt that long.
Yeah, I was like I'm gonna like do some prep on the game. I'm gonna play some games myself, and like had big plans for yesterday. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
I just took a 4-hour afternoon lunch break from work and then had a meeting and stopped working.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know what you would call yesterday. It wasn't real. I mean, not to be too dramatic. I like it was bad, but I don't think it was a coup per se. It was a bunch of idiots that the cops led into the Capitol.
I would call I would call yesterday a pretty historical event.
Yes,
I think it was just like a history day.
Event. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally history happens. Also, yesterday was the deadliest day of the pandemic, but also today was the deadliest day of the pandemic. So
I think we buried the lead a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, more history than I wanted one day.
I remember going to a bar a couple days after the election in 2016. I was with you. We were in Oakland. And we were having the same conversation that a lot of people were having. It's like, is this like, do I have to like learn to fight? You know, like what's going on here? You know, like, and yeah. I didn't know how to respond at the time. And then after a certain point, we kind of got used to it. But like, I don't know if we expected it to be this bad, right? Like 350,000 people who have lost their lives.
Not a bit. This was certainly not my prediction for probable outcomes for 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's not okay, but
okay.
I'm glad we are alive and safe.
I will be happy if we learn how to put lights and wireframes on this cube. Like basically, I think what's happened over the course of the 4 years is I've like kind of like dramatically whittled down my expectations for my life.
Standards just like lay on the floor. Yeah.
It's you know, we could frame it that way, or we could say that we've become better Buddhists, you and I.
I like that take a lot.
Yeah. it's
Oh,
self-congratulating. Of course we like it.
you can't say that, otherwise they'll take back your card.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Whoever the equivalent of Saint Peter is in the Buddhist religion is like, oh wait a minute, you're right. You've convinced me. I'll banish you to the seventh hell to
Funny.
go entertain the Rama kings or whatever. um, are we bringing shaders in? Looks like we're bringing shaders in.
Well, we had shaders.
Okay.
I'm just we're bringing normals in. That's what's
Okay.
happening.
Nice.
What is so our shader outputs? Oh, interesting. Okay, we've just got a second output here. Also, I feel like these files are using two different versions of.
They are using two different versions.
Okay, let's at least stick to the version that we're using.
Yeah.
So we get our position and our normal and our color.
Yeah. I think I like the the version 300 syntax. It's a little bit less verbose.
That's no, because like one also attribute and variant, I much prefer in and out. Like in and out is really clear about what's going on.
Yeah.
And our out is a vec3 normal and a v4 color.
Yeah, I think the shader the designers of the shader language also agreed with you, but unfortunately, the designers of the API surface area did not, and so we're still setting attributes in the user code.
Oh goodness, yep, that'll happen.
Yeah.
So this is a vertex position and a vertex normal. I assume A is actually because it's an attribute, and we just want to keep track of that.
It's whatever the user, as long as it's consistent with what the user code is doing, then.
Cool.
Okay. Line 30 maybe should be a vertex normal.
Ah, thank you. That's what I was missing. Okay, so if I reload this, I do expect that to be broken because none of this is actually real.
Yeah.
So let's see what we're doing. We've got our position, a vertex, and we need a vertex normal.
Yeah.
And then we do the whole buffer binding for normals. Great.
When you use the command key, you're primarily using the one to the left of the spacebar. Is that, am I?
100%, yeah.
And then you probably use your thumb.
I do.
So if you're like copying and pasting, you're doing like a weird wrist twist.
I'm doing the thumb under the hand. Yeah.
So I do the same thing. That's exactly what I do. And I think it's fucking up my hand.
So I feel like they make.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they make the keyboards that like let your hands kind of do this, like they're like kind of sideways keyboards.
Yeah, there's the kinesis advantage. There's all that ergodox nonsense now. Like, there's a bunch of people at work that are really into the Moonlander. Do you know this keyboard that I'm talking about?
Moonlander, no. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I wish it had fewer wires.
It's yeah, it's got the vertically arranged keys. And then
that's
nice.
So
the command key is much more available. It doesn't require contortions. Yeah, it's a
vertically arranged keys. I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah. Yeah, our keyboards are messed up, but the problem is I'm so wired into them.
Oh wait, Jeff, but this is a gamer keyboard too.
What does that mean?
It means that you can take the right side off and bring your mouse in.
Oh,
because all you need is WASD.
Oh, I suppose any keyboard that's like that. I actually got a gamer keyboard at one point. I had the Kinesis Freestyle Pro.
Which one is that? Kinesis,
No, I had the
freestyle.
Edge. I had the Freestyle Edge.
Oh, there we go. That's much more gamer. Oh, with
It's
the
much
RGB lighting,
edgier.
of course.
Yeah, it had RGB. It was actually just a better version of the Pro. It had like the leather.
That's nice. Yeah.
It was a very nice keyboard. I couldn't get used to the profile though. Like I'm used to like the razor thin Magic keyboards. So
That's why I really like this low profile mechanical keyboard.
yeah,
It's doing a
so
lot for
I'm getting
me.
I'm getting actually your keyboard, but the newer version of it
Nice.
that trims off it squashes the arrow keys into the main part of the keyboard. So it looks like a
Oh,
Magic keyboard. Yeah.
I want my arrow keys. This is perfect. There's no number pad, but yes, arrow keys. It's everything I want.
That's really good. Yeah, I just needed something that was like super compact because I was used to my mouse being very, very close to the keyboard.
That's fair. This is a silly keyboard.
It's
I
pretty
love
silly,
it.
but but like it's in the direction of like not killing your wrists.
Totally. I just love fully backlit for writing is like the funniest thing I've ever seen. You gotta have your RGB lights for your manuscript.
Yeah.
Chug some Mountain Dew while you're at it.
We just had someone in chat say, "Thanks for streaming, guys. Catch you next time. Adios." Well, adios
Oh,
to
what's
you
up?
too. Thank you for saying hi.
Razor and not so.
Yeah.
Cheers. I wonder if that's from the Reddit post.
Yeah, I don't know.
Excellent. Well, we should actually program if people are going to watch this program. So let's see. I brought in some shaders. Oh, right, because this is actually frag color. Does anything look for GL frag color? It totally doesn't.
No, it's the new syntax. It probably would be like the list of things to learn right now is just friggin' astonishing, right? We still have Blender tutorials to watch, but
That's fair.
knowing why fragment shaders don't have an implied output but vertex shaders do is kind of an interesting thing to know, right? Because fragment shaders there have that implied output of GL position. We didn't have to declare
Right. Yeah. How interesting.
that. Yeah. That's one word for it.
I think one of the most challenging things about doing this, about shader language in general, is that it's so inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's like a programming language that doesn't want you to program in it.
That's correct. I think you also had the question of like what is the shader doing versus what is the invisible elves? What are the invisible elves in the GPU doing?
Yeah, man.
No. Yeah. I think
I'm with you.
The rule of thumb that I've come to understand is that when you look at a vertex shader and look at a fragment shader, in that gap, line 33, the implied activity there, there's actually a whole pipeline that's going on, but what you can imagine is that the first thing that's happening is we're clipping. So we'll clip out stuff. And then we will make triangles, and then we will interpolate all of those attributes onto the surface of a triangle, and that's what your fragment shader is getting.
Also, I was reading about geometry shaders, which we just don't have access to, but maybe someday.
Yeah.
I was just going to make color a thing in here because we totally don't need the uniform. We actually don't need to pass it around here. We're just making red squares. So.
Oh, so we're gonna do away with vertex colors entirely. I like it.
I mean, it's just an array of ones.
Yeah.
And then you know what? Then we can talk about textures in this file at some point too.
Yes. Get out of my life, vertex colors.
Color buffer, you're gone. Normal buffer, still normaling over there.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it looks pretty good.
Syntax error vec3. Doesn't like that, huh?
Try Dotto.
Oh, you know what it is.
Oh yeah.
Vector field selection out of range.
There is no colors of vec4. Colors of vec4.
Color has to be vec4? Okay.
Yeah. Or at least it does because we defined it. We're using a .a. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, that was the A. Great. Okay. And then program not linked, which is a little surprising. Well, let's see. So let's see. Color lock gone. So let's see. We are attaching vertex shader. We're attaching fragment shader. We're linking.
If you scroll up, I believe that line 40 should be line 34 and line 40 should be V normal. That's how we named it in the vertex shader, and I think the names matter.
Oh, fuck. Great. Okay.
And
Hey,
that
now,
is
now
being that is lit.
Now the cube is lit.
That is lit. Can we do that 0.5, 0.5 on line 41? I would like to see a deeper lighting effect if we can, instead of 0.4. Oh no, you had it.
Yeah.
I just wanted I just wanted to increase the effect of the lighting just a tick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice. So the light is hanging out kind of at the bottom here.
The light,
Or I guess it's
yes,
on the camera.
The light is 1, -5, which means that it is pointing to the left and upwards.
Gotcha. All right, man, we're gonna have to, at some point we need to build some scene inspection tools too, which I am pretty sure we will do.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. No, as I say, we got it working. We're in a good spot. We have normals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just want to say out loud sort of the next thing that happens, which is
we could do wireframes. The reason why we added normals is just to confirm that the reason why we added lighting was just to confirm that the normals are sensible, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's lit. It's lit. Right. So we're gonna take the. Oh, do we need to add barycentric coordinates to this as well? Our triangles.
We probably do.
Yeah, we could maybe generate those by going through the indices and just like we could probably iterate over these and push into a list pretty easily.
The problem
it's just the same three coordinates every three.
Barycentric coordinates is that there are fewer vertices in the index buffer than there are vertices that we're actually rendering, right? Sorry, let me say that one more time. The index buffer is going to be 36 entries long because there's actually 36 vertices that we care about. Does that make sense? Yeah. However, there's only 24 vertices worth of position data and normal data, right?
Correct.
So that's because we reuse the same vertex twice on 2 corners of each face, because those are the ones on the diagonal and they're shared between 2 different triangles, right? So if we do add barycentric coordinates, we need to make sure that if we set a barycentric coordinate on one of the triangles, it has the same barycentric coordinate for both of those, right? So that's just, that's tricky.
I see.
Yeah.
That is tricky.
I don't know how they numbered these. I don't know how they arranged the cube vertices. It might not be systematic.
Right.
In which case, it may be worth doing it systematically. So
these look like roughly. I mean, it's clearly face by face at least.
It's clearly face by face. Okay. So yeah, we can actually interpret what the shared vertex is. And based on that, we can suss out what our barycentric coordinates should be.
Gotcha. Right, because what you're saying is that 0 needs the same coordinate.
Needs the same barycentric coordinate, right? Yes.
Is it weird that one only appears in this list one time? I would have expected this to loop back around to that at some point.
It is, and in fact, vertex 2 is also used twice.
I expect things to be
Oh.
used twice. Once is the weird part. I feel like there actually is some duplication in our vertices. Oh, because of normals. Right. So 1 and 3 are the... man, I wish I had a pencil.
We can do whiteboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have your
let me
iPad?
go.
Yeah.
I have my iPad, but I'll just draw it on Miro with my mouse. I mean, come on, Miro. We've been through this. I did the stream not that long ago. Oh, is it really just my Gmail? Fine. Even ruder. Could have remembered that.
So rude.
Uh-huh. All right. So if I... Yeah, great. So for... Nope. So we have like 0... I think basically this is how it's laid out. Does that make sense? Because like, oh no, I got it backwards.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
Yeah,
I've got my tablet here in front of me.
You got your tablet.
Is
Yeah,
that gonna be easier for you?
I think you'll probably just draw the thing I'm trying to draw pretty easily.
Okay, so I think what you're going for is. And 0 and 2 are the reused ones.
0 and 2 are the reused ones, so they have the diagonal. Right, exactly.
Okay.
So this is our setup. And that's it. Because if the face that shares like 1 and 2 off this way has its own duplicated coordinates for those corners.
Okay.
At least based on how this is working.
Yeah, so the
makes
question
sense because
is,
it has to have its own normal.
okay, so how do we translate this to barycentric coordinates, right?
Good question.
Because it is consistent, right? Essentially, we're going to have a repeating pattern every 4 verts.
Or we have a repeating pattern of 4 verts that it makes 2 triangles, 6 verts.
It is every 4 vertices. Sorry, every 4 vertices in the attribute buffers. So every 4 is just going to be a repeating pattern.
Correct.
And as long as the first and third of those
are the same.
Rather, as long as the second and the fourth are the same, right? Because it's basically, if you look at my drawing, 1 and 3 are going to have the same barycentric coordinate.
1 and 3 have the same.
Because 0 and 2 are taken, right? 0 and 2 are taken and they're the same in both triangles. That means 1 and 3 need to be the same.
Yep.
And how we choose? So basically, we could just do 1 0 0 for the 0th for the barycentric coordinate for 0. For the first vertex, we do 0 1 0. The third one we do 0 0 1.
And the fourth one is 1 0 0 again.
The fourth one is 0 1 0.
0 1 0. Yeah.
And then we just repeat that 6 times. Child's play. God, this stuff always messes with my head so much.
Child's play. Now, can we apply this? Does this apply to our GLSL model the same way? I guess we don't even know. I've never seen the vertices.
Can you say that one more time?
Like for the tank. I guess,
No, we just don't know. We
yeah.
don't know in the abstract how the index buffer is being used. It
Mhm.
just happens to be the case that um,
For this data, it'll work.
it'll
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
As I say, I'm going to feed this in here. I'm curious too if there is like a option to export that from Blender. Like, is this a normal ask, or are we doing a weird thing?
I don't necessarily think so. Let me Google it.
Okay.
Blender Barycentric attributes.
I'd be surprised. Okay. Cool.
It sucks. I feel like this is something we should be able to turn on in the shader itself, because if you think about it, like the shader, in order for the thing that happened before the shader that actually does the interpolation, kind of
Mhm.
has to know how far you are from every single one of those vertices. So it kind of like implicitly knows what the barycentric coordinates are. As long as you don't care, as long as the assignment of the barycentric coordinates is arbitrary and you don't care about what order they happen in, because like we just arbitrarily assign them. It doesn't matter what order they are as long as 1 and 3 are distinct, right? That's the only thing
Totally.
that matters. As long as 1 and 3 are distinct and 0 and 2 aren't the same thing. Sorry, as long as 1 and 3 are the same thing and 0 and 2 are different from either of those, right? That's what I meant to say after saying it 5 times in a row.
Mhm.
But it doesn't matter exactly what they are, because all they are just like, how far am I from really what it is how close to an edge am I, right? Because if you have a barycentric coordinate on your fragment shader where one of the elements is 0, you know you're
Mhm.
on one of those edges, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, can we apply this generically just per triangle? Because we're using barycentric to be able to draw thicker lines than just 1 pixel, right? That's what they're outputting for us, right? Because we can figure out if the normal changes, but from
It's to
pixel to
draw
pixel,
the
like
it's to draw the lines at all. We need the
draw the lines
barycentric
at
coordinate.
all.
Yeah.
Mm. We can't, because f width won't. We can't use the f width function just to see that our normal value has changed from pixel to pixel.
That is a good question.
Because I thought that didn't depend on barycentric.
So you're right, but I don't know. I'm actually not sure if the partial, like, stuff I said in previous streams might be wrong. Is basically what I'm saying.
Hmm?
But I don't know if we're guaranteed that the partial derivative includes values from outside the same face.
Oh, hmm.
Because I was thinking, or outside the same primitive, or outside the same triangle, rather. Because I was thinking about it the other day.
Hmm?
Um, like essentially what we're modeling. Let's say you have a triangle like this and a
So
triangle
okay.
like this. And imagine this is kind of 3D, so we're talking about a bit of a corner here. Let me just see if I can draw it a little bit more of a sharp angle.
Mhm.
Yeah, imagine that this is like the side of it, right? And the light is coming in through here. So it's like
Yep.
kind of an angle there. And one of
Hmm.
the normals is like this, and one of the normals is like this. What is the partial derivative of the normal on this edge? It's
Hmm.
either 0 because the normal's not changing at all, right? Or I don't know what that value is. I think it's not defined, right? Because essentially we have a discontinuous function, right? Like if
Hmm.
you had a
Hmm.
graph and we essentially are talking about this type of thing, what is the derivative right here? I mean, it could be a million different things, right? It's infinite. It's nothing. It's not defined.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
So I actually think we should experiment and see what the partial derivative of the normal looks like. And I kind of think it's going to be 0 on the edges, but we can try
Okay.
looking at it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Right. How do we? It's interesting because we don't. Yeah, we don't even get the position in here. Ah, it's weird.
We can pass the position though.
Is it not just? Do we just like write in?
Vec3 v. We could do a vertex. What is the name of the position? A vertex position.
It's a vertex position.
I think this might just work.
Oh, because right, it's actually the same. Since it's the same name, it has the same position into the VAO.
Can you check out Evan Wallace's that anti-alias grid shader thing?
Yeah.
And then if you look at the source, it might be a hot mess, but he doesn't show the vertex shader here, but I think there definitely is a vertex shader, and I just want to look at the vertex shader.
Totally.
Oh, is it minified? Or is it just Google Analytics?
That's not going to stop us.
Okay, this is not too bad. That's the F. Does that look like a fragment shader to you?
I think that's a fragment shader. Outputs GL frag color, yeah.
Okay.
I turn this into...
Just turn it to C and see if you can format it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Oh, it's pretty close.
Oh,
Man.
come on.
Here, I have an idea.
Just call it JavaScript.
Nope, I'm just gonna... Oh, sorry. I'm gonna select every semicolon. We'll just get some line breaks. There we go.
Okay. Well, what I care about is not the fragment shader is actually being printed on the web page. Can we find his vertex shader?
This is also the vertex shader.
Oh,
there's
vertex
a
shader right
comma in here. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
totally.
Oh, fantastic. So, in this particular dialect of GLSL, he's not exporting the position. Wait, this is not the same shader though, right?
Possibly not.
Yeah. I think he's got a bunch of different shaders because he's got a bunch of different demos in here.
Right. Yeah. There's a couple things, aren't there? Okay. Well, here's some more.
If you just command F for F width, that's probably going to be that one. Oh, that's perplexing. Maybe it's in support.js.
Let's take a look. That's honestly very surprising. I feel like that's necessary to this technique.
Do you think he could be pulling the shader out of the source of the HTML source of the page?
I'd believe it.
Okay.
Because as I change this, it changes. So
yeah. All right, that's fine. I mean, we can just look at it here.
Oh, sorry. Here it is.
I'm still a little perplexed by the vertex shader though, because the vertex shader seems to be missing. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
He declares a varying vec3 vertex, but the vertex shader never sets that anywhere. Not the one that we're looking at least.
Varying vec3.
Doesn't use it it doesn't use it for the model view transform. You know, like so. That vertex means the position. I'm pretty sure that's what
I think you're right. Yeah. Pick a coordinate to visual. So this vertex is the oh, interesting, right? Huh.
It's literally just the world position. It's the world space position of the pixel that we're currently on. That's what they mean.
Oh man.
And the only reason why I'm looking at this is I want to know how to get that world space position, because I think that's what you were interested in, right? Was the position of... Well, unless you were interested in barycentric coordinates, which is, we'd have to add the attribute.
Yeah, I mean, I think... So I think for our wireframe, we do want barycentric so that our lines are connected to our triangles instead of the world grid coordinates. Exactly. This is like this is a cool map, but like
Oh yeah, the
The
only
map,
reason why I brought this up is because you mentioned wanting to get the world space positions, and he's doing it here.
right? I guess, yeah. I guess I was trying to figure out how or if we could determine the delta, but what you're saying is that that change is actually not going to be evident to us. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the way I didn't quite super grok this, but basically what's going on here is you see the vec2 grid equals absolute value. Uh, just so you know what with the word fract, that function call fract is doing is that's the money function. What it's doing is it's saying give me the fractional component of this floating point number. So it's like whatever's to the left of the decimal point, just
Oh,
chop it off.
interesting.
And so that's what's getting us the repeating pattern, right? Because obviously that's going to repeat over and over and over again as
Yep.
the x and y coordinates get bigger.
That's clever.
And the subtraction by 0.5 and then the absolute value of that is just making sure that like if we're negative, we get the same kind of behavior. And so what that variable vec2 grid actually is, if we didn't divide it by that f width, all it would be is the world space distance from the nearest grid line, which is basically every unit number in the x, y, or z dimension, right?
Hmm.
It's just like how far am I from the integer value that I'm a fractional value over, right? That's basically what that piece of math is saying.
Gotcha.
And if I'm far enough away, I'm just going to draw black. But if I'm really close, I'm going to draw white or maybe a slight off white. So that's what the thing above the f width is doing. It's basically saying how far am I from a whole number on either the x, y, or z axis. And then the division by f width is saying that if I'm really far from the camera, I want you to account for that. So
Gotcha.
that if I'm really far from the camera, I want you to account for that because that at least in screen space, I still want you to draw me with the same thickness. Now, why f width works is actually kind of a mystery to me. It seems like f width seems like such a hack because it's like the absolute value of the change on the x-axis and the change on the y-axis added together, and it's just like, okay, I don't know why that works. Why isn't it the Pythagorean distance or something like that? Like but it's magical. It works.
Okay. Man, I thought I went into this with like some understanding of how this is working, but I feel just as lost as before. Crud.
That's okay. It takes
Yeah.
this is gonna take some reps.
I know. So
So what would
I
you like
guess
to do?
I mean I want the 3JS wireframe shader essentially,
Okay.
which we can't have.
So the 3JS wireframe shader, I looked into it. They're cheating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh right. They went to they're rendering to Canvas 2D, right? Or something.
They render lines. Yeah.
They're underlines.
They
Okay.
basically just say, I want you to draw these. I think they just changed the primitive. Like if we actually if we
That's
scrolled
funny.
down and just did GL lines instead of GL triangles, I bet we would get it.
So that I think is cheating. I really like the like the way we can easily think about like collapsing faces of the same normal using
Using the
is
normals.
it using normals in barycentric coordinates? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so I might have been bullshitting us with that particular thing because I didn't know what I was talking about, but we should try it, right? I actually haven't tried, so we should try it.
Okay, so what? Let's see. We at least need this extension no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Still works. That's good.
If we want to take a baby step, why don't we try drawing the wireframes using pure shaders and barycentric coordinates? Because that at least will get us somewhat of an understanding of how the partial derivatives work.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so we just need to add a in vec3 for a barycentric.
Yeah.
And then we'll get that out over here. right, and then I guess we can, yeah, this can be a nice, easy loop.
Yeah, you could define it once and then just do 6 splat
Oh, yeah,
expressions if you wanted to do that.
that is a great call. Barycentric. Man, this is not a word that is under my fingers.
You should just say Bary, B-A-R-Y, and then like I think that'll
Is that gonna be good enough for us? I think so too.
I think we'll know what it means. Yeah.
Too late here. Okay, so we're just doing 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, so the 3 0 1 0 0 1, and then
0 1 0.
0 1 0. Yeah. Man.
And that's just how they order the indices. We need the second and third one to be the second and fourth one to be the same.
Hmm.
You're a Bary face.
You're a Bary face, yeah. All right, great. Sneeze, fuck. Oh, worst.
What's up?
I was about to sneeze.
Okay. Well, hey, don't hold it back on my account. Let her rip.
I don't want to, man. I heard you can pop your eyeball out that way. Doesn't sound good.
That didn't sound totally bad either. That'd be kind of cool. Do you mean like the eyeball like completely flying out, or just like dislodging itself slightly?
Honestly, I don't know. It's such a weird urban legend that I have no fucking clue. So let's see. So location 3 per iteration. That sounds right.
Yeah, it looks right.
Okay,
I think
cool.
we needed to add it to the both the fragment shader and the vertex shader.
I was kind of, oh fuck. I was curious about that, given that things just seem to work from one to the other.
Yeah.
Okay, uniform syntax error. This actually probably goes above.
We're missing a semicolon, line 19.
It's a semicolon. Yep, and 39.
Yeah.
Man,
you should make JLSL and just make it like the JavaScript version. That should be your life's work.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
And the J would stand for Jeff and Dom.
Oh, now you're talking. Yeah. Is that what JavaScript's been this whole time?
Yeah, Jeff and Dom script.
Index out of range. Interesting. Did I grab the wrong? Okay. Huh. Does that look like the right thing?
We're getting index out of range when we do draw elements. Is that right?
Now, how do I find out?
We don't really know. It's kind of guesswork at this point. Debugging shaders is terrible.
It's the worst. I assume it's this because if I take this out, the error goes away. So it's somewhere in here.
Okay. Let's see.
Do we have enough? Do we have enough of these?
It is. That is a good question. Is it a float 32 array? Did we put that into a float 32 array at any point?
Oh, great question. Probably should be, huh?
Yeah. I don't know what it does with a regular JavaScript array.
Yeah, that's okay. That was a really good guess though.
Thanks.
I mean, not even a good guess. It was 100% correct because that was going to read all the wrong shit. 72 is correct.
3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 6 is 72. Yeah.
Wait, that's half as much. We have 24 vertices. Oh, yeah.
We have 24 verts times 3 values per. I think that's 72.
72. Yeah. And this should be doing the right index for us.
Because it should be, yeah.
These should be matched up. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Huh. Okay.
Can we go back to the place where we're binding the buffer and everything?
Yeah. New buffer.
Cube barycentric. Okay.
Yeah, everything is
Everything
called
looks
cube for
good.
some reason. I'm gonna call this actually cube barycentrics.
Okay.
And then be right into here, gel float.
It's kind of the same thing as the normal.
It's exactly the same as the normal. We just did that.
Yeah.
And this just worked.
We didn't accidentally modify anything else, right? It's definitely an issue with the barycentric coordinates, right? Because when you commented it out, it was fine, right?
When I comment it out, it goes away. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any problem with us? Yeah, that's fine. Could this get attribute location?
Where's a base? Can you show me? Okay, that looks good.
It's in both of these.
Yeah, if we delete it from the frag shader just real quick, it's probably not going to change anything, right?
Oh, you know what it is? This should be v barycentric equals, because we're actually not, or rather, I don't quite understand why this is happening this way. But like v normal comes from here, not from the input.
Well, it's because we transform the normal in the vertex shader. That's necessary.
That's right. I made it worse. Okay. Cool.
We also needed to find, if you're going to do that, we needed to find an output in the vertex shader.
Fair. So we don't need to do any of that. This is fine then, because that should work.
I think it's okay.
And the order of this doesn't matter, right? No, these are named.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Can we look at the draw elements call real quick?
Yeah, totally. I am surprised.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty good to me.
It looks pretty good. It's, I mean, it even is. It's line 170.
It's saying there's a problem with line 170.
170, 171 are where I'm getting the index out of range. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's strangely specific. Nothing here is it's still called normal, right? No. Boy, we've had such good luck with our buffers recently.
This is such a pain in the ass.
What does geostatic draw on the buffer data mean?
It is a hint to the driver on how to arrange the data in memory according to its usage.
Okay.
You can also declare it as dynamic, which implies that you may be changing the memory over time. But static means that once you write it, that chunk of memory is going to stay constant until you destroy the buffer. It doesn't necessarily guarantee any behavior at all. It's kind of weird. It's a hint to the driver.
That is weird.
Like an optimization hint, I suppose. And it's having a problem with line 170. If you comment out line 171, what happens?
Great question. 170 is still sad.
Okay.
Enable vertex attribute array. We do this exactly 3 times. For the attribute location, and this is totally that, right?
Yeah.
We haven't done anything else to a vertex normal or a vertex position. Do I just need to, oops, shift reload? That seems super unlikely.
Right, we're
probably
getting to
not.
that territory now, right? It's like, is the browser doing what I want it to?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, like, you know what? While we're asking that question, what's going on in Chrome? Chrome is still unhappy.
And it's on line 170 specifically.
On line
Index
170
out of range.
specifically.
So it's basically saying that it can't find. Can we print barycentric loc? Was it -1?
Mm-hmm. It is.
You know what it is? Is that it's named twice. It's named in the vertex fragment shader and it's named in the vertex shader, so it's getting confused as to what it should be.
Why does this work then?
Why does which work?
A vertex position is an input for both as well. We don't use it here, which is interesting.
That is really weird. I think it's probably getting compiled out of the fragment shader because it's not being used.
But neither is this. But you know what? We're gonna lead them both. I'm with you.
It's still happening.
It's still happening. If I take it out of here, do we maybe need to use it? Is
yes,
that like
that's exactly what it is? You need to use it.
Because it's getting compiled
out. Yeah.
All right. You win. Well, let's use it.
We can do something really stupid with it. I think we just have to fool a compiler to thinking.
Yeah, let's just bring all the code back. Take out the we're no longer locking -1.
Yeah,
okay, so
you could literally set a particular value to that, and then set the value again to 1 or something like that. You know, back to 1.
Can I do this?
Yes, you can. And in fact, that actually might look cool.
Didn't. Oh, because I forgot a semicolon. Man, that is gonna crush me. Program not linked. Okay, let's take this back out, make sure it's still good. I really wish we had like better errors out of this shit.
Yeah.
Draw elements, no valid program.
It's because the shader's not compiling correctly.
Totally.
There are ways of getting the compilation error messages. If you look at MDN, get like link status, I think it's called. Link status, something like that.
Whoa. What? Wow.
I don't think we need an extension. There's a thing that like is not that. Get shader parameter. Get link. There's like the link status. If you scroll down more, it was in the same page.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I see. Compile status. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can do that for individual compiles, and then we can also do the link. See, all of those is actually things that we should be doing every single time we do compile, because it's not that expensive.
100% agree. Well, and like, we only compile the once, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. We've got our vertex shader. We've got our fragment shader. Got our link. This should be in our main code for sure. Oops, that's silly.
Okay. We have an extra compile in line 73.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. BS vertex shader. That's interesting.
I think you can pass in program. It doesn't make sense to pass in.
Yeah, it's weird that is their example though. Bug
I think it's a typo.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not running this code, right?
Yeah. Fair. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad this exists. Variants with the same name but different type or statically used variants in fragment shader are not are not declared. Is it really just this?
Huh. What if we called it an out as well? Out vec3 a barycentric. Okay, it's a redefinition. Okay, so let's do the painful thing and just like call it out v barycentric, and we'll figure out a better name scheme over time, and then yeah, copy it.
Yep. Cool. So without even doing any of that, I would like this to compile. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this should take an in vec3 v barycentric.
This actually makes more sense to me. It didn't make sense to me what was going on before. So
good. Yeah. Beautiful.
That is friggin' hot.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can see the comment. You can see this allows you to visualize the shared vertices, right, of the triangles. Okay, so now we can start using partial derivatives and get ourselves some color. Some wireframing going on.
Nice. Okay, cool. Gosh, this is where it's gonna totally fall apart for me. So we have f width as our partial derivative function.
Yeah. I actually saw there's actually an article that has the formula. Although it's like it's the one in the the Internet Archive link that I sent you.
Oh, so yeah, totally.
In our Slack. I don't know.
Like history. Not in this browser. Oh, come on. Yep, to the Slack.
Yeah.
This article was great.
It was good. It was like kind of like in a GeoCities page, but this is more sophisticated than GeoCities. This is like 2003.
Blogger. Yeah. Remember when we had RSF? Wait, RSS. What does on do? Can I turn it off? I don't want to turn it off. But...
okay. Yeah, this article is really good. This is like the OG article that everybody references and doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, and I've seen this reference multiple times too with the archive link as I've been searching around. So I'm just like, damn.
So just so we get some sense.
I just want to point out, they do the exact same weird shit we had to do just now, which is pass it straight through the vertex shader.
Yes. Sorry, if we pop in a Miro really quickly.
Yep.
We can just take a look at what the barycentric coordinates are actually doing. So again, like what we assign to each of these verts is totally arbitrary as long as they have one in different variables, right? Different dimensions. Yep. We just rotate them and swap them or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, this was a really weird thing to learn existed, but made a lot of sense once I sort of like grokked it. It's like, like I've seen this sort of triangle as a way to describe any property on 3 axes.
Yep.
But basically, as you hit the edge, any one edge, one of these coordinates takes over. So
there is a thing called the barycenter, which is where barycentric kind of gets its name, and that is 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. It is exactly halfway to each of the edges and exactly halfway to each of the vertices. That's what that means. This point over here, actually any of these points along this edge, all of them have a 0 in the x-coordinate.
Yep.
Because they have none of this vertex mixed into it, if you can think about that.
Exactly.
Like the farthest you can be from that vertex is on that edge. So they all have 0. So the principle of our wireframe thing is basically what we're saying is if any of our, like we're going to be using the vertex, we're going to be drawing the vertex shader on all of these pixels, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to say if any of their barycentric coordinates are 0, either the x component, the y component, or the z component, that means we're smack on the line. So let's draw a real color for that. Otherwise, let's
Yep.
not. Right? Or let's draw black. Right? Something like that.
And I see. And that's how we actually have this any less than.
Yeah, and any and less than are actually, I think there are GLSL helpers.
That's great. So let's just. Safari really just gave up on rendering that.
Yeah.
So. Oh, cool. So actually, color can be if any less than the barycentric. And, oh man, was this guy doing? No, you have to do assignment inside. Okay. It's nice that.
We could just do.
Do I have to define vec4 color up here and then do?
Yes, you do. You may even have to initialize it, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's fair.
But let's not do more work than we have to.
Yeah, not yet. Cool. Then color equals. I mean, we might as well keep using be barycentric. It's going to just be a rainbow border, but it's cool. Sorry, this is a vec4 of that and 1.
Otherwise, black.
Let's do black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Semicolons. Got all my semis in there.
Got to get those semis.
Cool. Great.
Standard derivatives extension is not support. No, that's not right. It was
Hell, wait a
compiling
minute.
5 before.
Yeah. How? Because that's been in here for a while.
It's been here forever.
Because if I just take all this out, that's so interesting. Okay, vec, no match. Oh, I assume it's actually.
Maybe we just have to assign it. Let's just initialize it.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy.
Oh, brilliant. Yes.
Okay, surprise. Oh, any no matching overload less than no matching overload.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
It's this. Shit, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So what if it's this? That's actually not what I expected.
It is not what I expected either.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Is
had been there before.
Something to do with the color? That's a good point. Like, what would be cleared? I guess maybe the gray would have cleared through.
It might be the lighting because we are applying lighting.
Okay, well, yeah, that's like this is a 50% alpha gray. I really wanted to see if we could see through it, which I'm fairly positive we shouldn't be able to do, and that's great.
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, I would have thought we would have seen through it as well because of the alpha. Maybe, I don't know.
It's cool. So this is great though.
So what's interesting about this is
actually, this is how I can actually make thicker lines, right?
Yeah.
That work at all scales. Nice.
That looks pretty anti-alias to me. How do you feel about that?
I do not think it looks anti-alias. There's a lot of
that makes more sense. If it's
there's a lot of rough edges on this.
It could just be the stream then. If it's rough edges, then that's exactly what I expect, right? Because the cutoff is actually very hard, right? On line 46, we're not doing any blending, so you basically have a choice. If we made the color solid, it might be easier to see this effect.
Oh, great. Okay, let's do that then. Yeah, we'll just do red.
Yeah, it's going to look a lot jaggier, right? Although we are applying lighting as well.
It's pretty jaggy. Okay. Right. If we just do frag color equals color, you don't want to worry about the lighting. It's just brutal, is what that is.
Yeah, it's very brutalist, right?
Please bring back the lights. But yeah, to me, I would not have called this anti-alias. So
well, that makes sense because we're only choosing between two colors essentially, right? It's either.
And I'm gonna see what this looks like on the stream, but I bet Zoom is actually just giving me a nice little. It's probably anti-alias in our video for us. It's a little chunky on the Zoom too, or on the Twitch. I can see it.
Yeah. Okay. That's good because that's what we wanted. Because that makes sense because we're not doing any blend. We're not doing any kind of like gradient, and that is where. we need to do a little bit of like a step function kind of thing. And I think that same blog post has that.
Let's take a look. Yep. So, okay.
So he's doing a couple things. He's doing the constant width, and he's doing
Whoa.
he's also doing smoothing as well.
Mm-hmm. So how quickly? So, this is why I was thinking that we could use the normals to skip or to remove edges, and I think this actually will play out for us.
Okay.
Because the F width is really, it's nothing about like triangles. It's just how fast is the normal changing, and like it either is or it isn't. I mean, like it.
Well, we could draw the F width and see. We can
that'd be
draw the
sick.
result of that. Yeah.
How?
So the F width is a vector of how quickly each normal coordinate is changing. So if you could just do v normal right there.
Okay, so this is for v normal. So if we, I see.
So just plug it into the color. Although the thing is, this is like, I don't know what the units are on this. It might be useful to just draw it and see what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that seems, let's just do that. Let's just do color is, we'll do.
And can we get rid of the lighting as well? Just so it's like brutally clear.
Oh, sure. But, oh yeah, because this actually might be a more challenging one.
Yeah.
You got it. For color and one. Yeah.
Semicolon.
Damn it, dude. Okay.
So
oh wait, I'm just rendering the color.
Yeah, so the width is 0 for every pixel.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is that the vertex normal is not changing, and this is actually what I was afraid of. There is no discontinuity on the corners. I think that F width does not blend into the triangle next to you.
Gotcha. So given, if I do V barycentric, I also get the same thing, which doesn't actually make me feel like it's
doing anything
crazy. Yeah, or at least that we're interpreting it correctly.
It could be that the values are infinitesimally small. What if we scale it up by like, what if we do times 100? That just turn it to white? Or does it remain black?
Probably nothing. It seems to be like times vec3, 100, 100, 100.
Oh, yes. Vec3 100 will do it. Although times 100 should just scale it.
Cool.
Gosh, I wish I knew what the hell was going on.
You know what's wild? Lights are off. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right, let's look at the normals real quick. All right.
Well, it does make sense that the colors were changing when you did V barycentric because it's non-zero. Right? The barycentric ones are non-zero.
It's actually that the colors, like the space between the colors is changing based on the rotation of the cube as we see it. So like the pixel next to each other is different. Okay, exactly. I buy it. Yeah.
Because essentially the distance of the same pixel, like if you pick a pixel on one of those faces and followed it around, it's actually moving further away from the camera. And as it moves further away, its delta on the barycentric coordinate is changing. And it'll change the most rapidly when the face is the most oblique to the camera, right? Because if you think about it, like when it's rendered in screen space, there's a huge change in its barycentric coordinate on a very, very small change in screen space. So it should get brighter as it gets flatter, right?
It's I really like it. It's such a weird effect.
It's a very weird effect. It gets brighter as it gets flatter, and darker as it gets more flush on to the camera, right? And I think that's exactly what we're saying. So at least we have that intuition from tonight, right? That's actually a really big win.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that the fact that I had it in my head that this would do the thing for normals isn't true.
Well, it's because I told you at least 2 streams in a row, so it's not your
that it would be true? Okay, maybe that's it.
Yeah. So that puts us into a little bit of hot water with doing edge removal. Uh, what a lot of people recommend is to use a geometry shader. In that regard, we are shit out of luck because there's no
Of
geometry shader.
cookies.
WebGL does not have a geometry shader. The geometry shader actually sits between the vertex shader and the fragment shader. And I don't know what it does because I've only worked in the web. But it apparently allows you to remove edges and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the web, we are back to, I think, drawing lines. I actually think the thing that I had originally was this, like, maybe
You think drawing lines? Okay.
maybe our only good option.
It's either drawing lines or we like really lean into the triangle aesthetic and like model for this. Which
Apropos of almost nothing. Actually, apropos of literally nothing. My brother just messaged me like on Discord with the 3 words "plot is awful." And
what
I
is
was
he
like,
watching?
what was the context? And so I went back and I realized it was in context of me giving him like a flash review of Shadow of the Tomb Raider because I got it for free on PlayStation Plus this month.
Oh yeah, I got that. I'm excited for Maneater. I want to be a shark man.
Oh, that's a PS5 game, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I can't get it. I can't even buy it.
No, get it. You can buy it on the store and it'll just be waiting for you.
I'll do that because I want to be a shark.
You should want to be a shark. It's a shark PG.
Yeah, what was the in Subnautica? What was that fucking thing that you were looking at last time that was horrible?
Oh, the Reaper Leviathan.
Reaper Leviathan. Well, if you were a shark, you would take that thing out, no problem, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just happy to see you, man.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Like if you're like a megalodon or something like that, just eat that. Yeah.
The plot is awful. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Plot is awful. But what I actually immediately thought of was in Big Lebowski. What's her name? Who's the Juliet? Maud. Yes. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What's the actress's name? She's incredible, but her name is escaping.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore. Yes.
Woo.
You are like
this is really,
for 2.
This is coming out of the vault. Yeah,
it's just like exactly. Julianne Moore. She's incredible. But she's watching the porno that her ex-husband's actually the real Lebowski, like the Big Lebowski.
Oh, right.
And she's watching it with the dude, right? and she goes, the plot is ludicrous. And it like as if that needed to be said, you know what I mean? As if she was giving like some kind of sophisticated observation of a porno. It was so funny. She is brilliant.
That movie is truly great.
Yes. So I that's what I thought my brother was saying, but I don't actually think he's a Coen Brothers fan. He's not a Coen Brothers hater either. He just is like it doesn't.
He's not a fan. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Did you play any of the Tomb Raider reboots?
I've only played the first half hour of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay. Is it fun? Plot is awful, but
let me tell you, the environment art is incredible. Like there's this village that you walked in the very beginning. It's like Dia de los Muertos, and you know we're talking about sick. Lighting. They have like dozens of little candles strewn about the courtyard at night, and I'm just like, how are they doing this? How are they doing? And the ironic thing is like there's like only 1% of what they're doing I would be able to like understand at all, and yet it's the candles. And I'm like, how are they doing this? Right. So the environment art is incredible. I actually think that it's hard for me to play because I think the original Tomb Raider reboot, what was that called? Was it just Rise of the Tomb Raider or just
that was Tomb Raider?
Just Tomb Raider. Yeah. That had the kind of this sort of pall over that game in that I think someone basically said it was a snuff film, and I couldn't get that out of my head.
Yep.
Do you think that was intentional, or do you think that's a cruel like a cruel reading of a game?
I don't think it's unfair because like it was gnarly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I read that too, and I played it, and it stuck with me. I was just like, I just tried not to die because it was really horrible every time it happened.
Yeah, well, I got impaled on rebar like 20
Hmm.
times in my
Hmm.
30 minutes of playing. And it's actually not even the death scenes, it's more of the I guess Lara Croft, she's a lot less sexualized than she was, but she's still pretty sexualized. There's some ass cam going on in that game, right?
Yeah, in a way that just like it doesn't. They don't do it to Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, speaking of ass cam, there's definitely ass cam in near Automata, even though there's a skirt, so there's not even an ass, but they just do it anyways because that's just like they probably just loaded up
I know.
asscam.dll and plugged it into the game. You know what I mean? It was just in the library.
It's
um,
from whatever the game they made previously where it's like, well, we already had this.
yeah,
Like the
exactly.
last JRPG had this one. Like we'll
Yeah,
just
we
do it
just
again.
had it. Like, yeah, we're not gonna because I mean, there's a lot of content recycling in Nier, right? Like they probably scope wise had to cut it down, and they're just like,
They
let's
recycle the
just
whole game
yeah,
like five
exactly. Let's
times.
just
Yeah.
pull out asscam.dll. Anyways, um, it's more of like the moment to moment groaning, and
It was weird.
straining. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that hanging over the game that like is it's kind of hard to get out of my head, and it makes me feel both superior morally and also just like a total perv at the same time. So like it's a complex emotion that game kind of pulls
Hmm.
out of me.
I
Uh,
heard that it got toned down in the sequels.
yeah, yeah.
But also I very much enjoyed like the Tomb Raider reboot. I thought it was fun. It was a good
I
game.
actually like, besides the snuffiness, I actually like the way that Lara Croft is acted.
It's a
I don't
great
know if
character. I think that's what was so disappointing. Everyone was like, y'all turned this like, traditionally like one dimensional character into like a cool person. Why'd you go back for the other stuff? We didn't need it.
right. So I don't know. Like I haven't played the game enough to really know what they're going for, but my read of the character so far is she's kind of nerdy, actually. Right? Like
Mhm.
she kind of like talks too fast and talks over people, but in a way that she's just like just super enthusiastic because she's got her buddy Jonah, right? And
Oh, I don't know. I gotta play
okay, so
Shadow.
she's got her buddy. This is like the sidekick character. And he kind of just the way that it's played, at least in the first 10 minutes of the game, is like he kind of puts up with her a little bit. I mean, he's her friend, but she's kind of like super enthusiastic about the nerdy aspects of all the archaeology that she's digging
Hmm.
up. And she's kind of like a wide-eyed dweeb about it, which I thought was a cool way of playing the character.
I like that. Yeah.
Uh, but I got to tell you, the whole Uncharted style puzzle solving gameplay in a cave, like
Not your
turning a 2,000-year-old crank. There's something about it that I was just like not enthusiastic about at all. I was like, this is a little
man.
tedious.
Every time in Uncharted, and like I feel like they eventually turn this into the joke of the game, but like you break into an ancient tomb, you like climb over these complex mechanisms, they crumble it to dust behind you. You're the
Yeah,
first person in there, and there's like 10 Nazis waiting ahead for you from like whatever bad guy
yeah,
bought the
yeah.
mercenaries that week. I'm just like, come on.
That's every kind of like 3D platformer, like traversal game, right? Is like, how the fuck did you guys get over here? I just had to like, yeah. Um,
Which I really like in Ghost of Tsushima. You climb the mountain, no one else is there.
except for the dude who has the fire sword, but he had the fire
Oh
sword.
yeah,
Yeah,
just that one time though.
I love that. You climb up the mountain, nearly freezing n times in a row, and there's a guy up there who's like, "I challenge you to a duel, motherfucker."
That was really funny. Also, like, what shouldn't people just go there in the summer? It's like he's like, no one's been here in years. And I'm like, do you have seasons on this mountain?
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
not.
Here's a problem with Uncharted and the new Tomb Raider game.
Mm,
Within the first 20 minutes of the game,
mhm.
you steal an ancient artifact that unleashes the curse of ancient Mayan god,
Okay.
causing a
Spoilers.
tsunami
Oh
uh,
shit.
in the town that you just walked, the beautiful town that you just walked through and admired the candles of, and it kills everybody. It just like you can hear people screaming. There's like a kid hanging out the window, uh,
Oh
and
no.
essentially the whole town gets refrigerated to give Lara a plot line to like it basically that's the setup of the and it kind of bothered me because there's like the colonial angle of it as well. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, now the suffering of the natives gives you know, the intrepid supermodel, protagonist a mission, and
Uh-huh.
that's par
That's
for
rough.
course for AAA video games, and yet I was made uncomfortable by it pretty significantly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because it wasn't her town, and now she's fighting on behalf of that town. You know what I mean? And like, and she kind of, or at least the game leads.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's gonna be some shit at the end of the game where it's like, actually, Lara, that wasn't you. It just happened to be the case that there was a tsunami that happened at the same time. They're gonna give her an out for taking the dagger.
Just don't take the dagger. It did not belong in a museum, turns out.
So what am I gonna play when I get off stream tonight? I don't really know.
Hmm?
Maybe not Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I don't know.
We'll see. I enjoyed the one I played, so it's probably like fun question mark. I don't know. They change it every time.
It is fun. There's no auto
Yeah.
aim. I'm a little bit bothered by it. So
Ooh.
that's negative. But the positive is there does appear to be some kind of puma or a jaguar. Because in the loading screen, there's like a really highly rendered puma with like shiny fur and like blood all over his face, and I'm like, I want to see that guy.
I hope it's like your friendly puma.
Yeah.
One that comes and helps you out.
I
Yeah.
mean, pumas probably just look like that when they eat. That's just what they do to survive.
Fair.
And the same way that I want to be a shark, I want to see a puma.
I do want to be a shark. That might be what I do tonight because that sounds fun. I still gotta finish Bucks next though.
I still have to get through level 1, which is to get a PS5.
Yeah, someday I'll get there.
God help me. It may happen.
It may happen. Okay, so we should at least anti-alias this, even if we go back to render lines later.
Yeah.
Man,
I wish
really
there's a solution that's pure shader as well, and maybe we should continue researching and see if there's.
I know. I feel like we're so close.
I don't know if the frag shader knows anything about other surfaces. That's the thing that I worry about.
Is there anything we can do in the vertex shader? No, because the vertex shader just gets points. It's not actually seeing pixel by pixel here.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We could, if it was just cubes.
Mm-hmm. If it's just cubes, easy.
We could. Well, if it was just cubes, what we could do is we could say, what did we assign to the off corners? 0, 1, 0.
Mm-hmm.
We could say if your y coordinate is 0, or with it, if your y coordinate is 0 or just barely above 0, don't draw anything.
Yep.
And that will get rid of that diagonal slash, right? Because that's, or rather, if your y coordinate is 0.
And we could look at we could do that with F width too, because we could look at this distance for that one particular coordinate, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if we're just talking about the edge elimination. I don't think we need F width at all.
Okay.
I think we're just, if you go back to Miro, you remember how we were saying that like the edge opposite the circled vertex has a 0 in that coordinate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're saying just for cubes.
Just for squads. If you
see the 0, drop it. Yeah.
If we had more complex polygons, then then who the hell? More complex polygons, we're in a shitload of trouble. Like that technique doesn't work at all anymore because like imagine this is all one face. Like imagine we had a really complex convex or concave polygon that had a bunch of that was tessellated like this. At that point, you kind of have no idea. Like you have to encode it in. There's some notion outside of the individual triangles that we need to say, hey, that triangle is on the flat surface.
I wonder, do we have?
By the way, that mini map in Moreau is dope. I would
really
love to work on that feature.
How cool is that?
I don't see it on the iPad, but it's really cool.
It's really good. Yeah. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if. I mean, I feel like at some point we have to do our own modeling too. So actually, like if we choose a rendering method that depends on quads, like we could. It's not like the turret could be wireframe pretty easily. This is quads and triangles. It's quads and triangles though. Give me that mesh view. We could also just render this, but that's kind of silly.
Yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, we've got the wireframe view working now just with the barycentric
Yep.
coordinates.
Yep. So actually, I guess yeah. To render just triangles, it doesn't even matter that we did our deduplication for barycentric, right? We could just stick. We could just put arbitrary ones there. We don't need to have the matching vertices, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the barycentric coordinate technique that we used is exclusive to not only quads, but the specific index buffering pattern that we use for this cube. And
Yep.
so even if we wanted to use the shader to handle our wireframing, we would need Blender or something else to figure out how to export the barycentric coordinates and the indexes so that there's no confusion between the shared vertices. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. What a bummer.
There might be a way to do detection as well, where we just say like we'll figure out where the triangles are by like parsing the index buffers, but then we're back into like, okay, we're anytime you have to like iterate over the geometry to like figure something out, then we might as well just draw the lines, right? I think that's going to be sort of our philosophy, is that like if we have to like if the modeling tool isn't going to give us the attributes that we want, then we have to do post processing of some kind. And if we're post processing, why don't we just emit the lines? Because we have a technique for that already, right?
Yep. Now, can we draw lines thicker? Can we draw lines thicker than 1 pixel?
I think there's GL line width. Can you
Okay.
see if an MDN WebGL has that?
Yeah.
I might be, we might be shit out of luck here too.
Yeah, because I want okay, sure. Yeah, that's in here.
What about WebGL2?
Oh, oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's asking too much. Let's just Google it. WebGL2. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. How? Oh, well, maybe if we go back to our TypeScript world.
Oh man, you are clever.
Huh. Hey man, I can't get it all, but I can get some of this.
That looks pretty promising.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is in context. I mean, I guess it's in the shared context. It's just part of this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alias line width range. Lines, line width. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's stuff in here for that.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing that I don't know what will happen at the edges or at corners if your line width is really thick. It's not a concern if your line width is minimal because it just kind of goes together. But if it gets really thick, then it's a little bit of an open question how it'll decide to render that. I'm hoping that it'll do the smart thing, in that it'll look like this basically, but anti-aliased.
Yeah.
This looks really cool though. I'm happy with our little demo here, right?
It looks really cool. I understand how F-width applies.
Yeah.
I think we validated that the normal approach doesn't quite work for this, which is fine. Yeah, we learned a lot.
Yeah. We got Steve coming on next Thursday, which is exciting.
Oh, that's good.
We can ask him about it. I also have a buddy, Shane, who I also invited to be on stream sometime. He's a little bit harder to get a hold of. But I remember talking to him about this exact problem. And I would go back and look at that chat, except that we were talking over a free Slack channel, or free Slack team, which forgets.
Oh no! Rest in peace. It's gone.
I think the history of that, yeah, it's actually not gone. It's actually all still there. We just don't let you see it because.
Unbelievable. Okay, good.
Sorry, am I violating NDA here? I actually kind of think that's probably pretty much how everybody would do it, right? Is they would just like.
Of course, you don't want to toss out. You can charge someone money to get it back.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's the reason why we don't throw it away is that you might pay us someday, and then we'll have it show to you.
Totally makes sense. I assume that storage cost is just nothing to you, which is great.
Probably not nothing. I don't know. I think Slack is probably no surprise. I think it's in our financials. We do pay AWS a lot of money.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that.
Our R&D spend is pretty high. Yeah.
Nice.
But that is par for the course for everybody, right? Everybody pays it. Like Amazon, they are selling the shovels.
Yeah, but Jeff Bezos, no longer the richest man in the world.
So sad.
I know. Honestly, to be eclipsed by Elon Musk, I'd be pretty sad. Just
So
a
how
dark
does
day for
Elon Musk have
humanity.
that much money? Is it just that Teslas are hot shit?
I'm not. I'm honestly not clear on what they sell because they
Massachusetts,
don't
yeah,
make enough Teslas.
right. For him to be the richest person in the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Massachusetts recently passed a law that said that every vehicle, I think, sold in Massachusetts after 2035 needs to be electric. And they followed California, so that means California was like
Mhm.
in the same boat. But
They ain't
do you?
wrong.
They're not wrong. I mean, it's got to go faster than that theoretically. If we're, I mean, we're screwed.
That's true.
We're
They're
so
also
screwed.
not right.
But where is the charging infrastructure? Where are fucking people gonna like actually
That's what I
charge
wonder.
electric car? Because like the cost of an electric car is not just the 50 grand that you plunk down for it. It's the house that you bought so that you could charge the thing, right?
Yeah, I looked at when I was buying a pandemic car. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get electric. And I was like, I have no idea how to put fuel in this car. It's impossible.
Yes,
Like, I
exactly.
can't charge it overnight. I can't
No.
leave it at a gas station for an hour. Like, what do I do?
Yeah. What do you just are you just gonna like be on your phone in your car like for an hour? Like that
You drive to the Whole Foods, you hang out for an hour on your phone. Yeah, trade some Bitcoin, get out of there.
got it. You know, the 99 Ranch Market in El Cerrito has a bunch of Tesla supercharging stations there. But I don't know
That's
if they would
cool.
charge your shitty ass Nissan Leaf. You know what I mean? Like
Are they not the same plug? That's the worst
I
part,
hope
right?
that they're the same plug. Yeah, I don't know. I imagine like Tesla has some weird proprietary RFID thing that's like if you drive your car over, it's got to match the exact quantum signature or something like that for it to charge.
Gag me with a spoon. That's
Yeah.
horrible. All right, spin cube. We got F with. We got Barycentric. It's pretty
We
cool.
got Barycentric. It's pretty cute, cool. I think the sort of edge elimination thing remains to, like an open mystery. I spent an hour Googling that and I couldn't
Mhm.
find anything useful from anybody. People kept saying he's a geometry shader. I'm like, dude,
Yep.
there's no geometry shader.
Yep.
The
Yep.
geometry
Yep.
shader is a lie. It's actually not a lie. It's just not in. But people
You
also
know,
say that it's slow too. So I don't know what to
oh,
say.
interesting. So the other thing I wonder is, can we pre-process the models, um, either at load time and like do it all in JavaScript? I don't know if that's gonna be terrible or not. So like TBD.
So if you say pre-process the models, do you mean pre-process them to what end? To generate the line geometry or to do something else?
I guess if we were to pre-process, it would be like going through triangle by triangle, looking for neighbors,
Yeah.
uh, doing that. I think maybe we could accomplish that with Barycentric coordinates by like if we want to eliminate the line, we put 0 in that coordinate because it's nothing. Does that
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yes. So we could actually like we could take a normal model of triangles, process it as we bring it in once, build our barycentric array, stick it in the graphics card.
That is interesting. So what you're saying is that like let's
Like basically these points coordinates should be 0 because they are part of a shared line. Or rather they have fuck, it's so hard. Like how we figure out that they are the shared
oh
line
yeah,
and
yeah.
at the same
Well,
face
it's
is
not
the work.
bad. No, it's not bad. Like so I have an algorithm that can figure this stuff out in principle. It basically can figure
Oh,
out which edges are wrong, right? Because that was what we showed off last time. Is that we did the X-wing demo. There are some bugs in it, but basically it was able to do edge
yeah.
elimination, right? And so
Oh, then I think we can do it.
yeah, so just to finish the thought, it's so what you're basically saying is if you are an edge that needs to be eliminated, we will assign the number
Okay.
one to your vertex
I was gonna say if you're an edge to be eliminated, you are barycentric 0, so that any won't draw you.
Yeah, but the attribute is on the vertex, not the edge, right? So you stick.
Yeah.
So you stick some value. You basically stick the value, the attribute value at the vertex to be.
Mhm.
I mean, it doesn't even need to be a vec3, right? It could just be It could be a float that is either 0, or it could be It could be a float that's 0 or 1. It'll still get. I think it'll still get interpolated. That I'm not. I'm
That's
not sure
cool.
how. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not sure how non-vec3s. No, it should still get interpolated.
I think we
Yeah,
can work with that though, and that it's not shader centric, but we can process it, and this technique is good.
it is good. The question I would ask then is, why not just generate line geometry at that point? Because
Mhm.
the line geometry is less complicated to render, or I would posit that it is less complicated to render. Because, for
Yeah.
example, oh whoa,
Nope. I wanted to see through the cube. It wasn't that.
oh, you wanted to see through the cube.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's okay.
why can't we see the? It's because the
Well, everything
intermediate
back there
faces.
should
Yeah,
be. Everything on the back is getting called, so there is no line drawn for what we can't see.
fascinating. And for some reason, the setting the alpha, if we were setting the
Even
alpha didn't
even with
work.
alpha, yeah, because there shouldn't be anything to look through.
It should at least show the friggin' background, right? Come on, guys.
Yeah, that to be honest is a mystery. Like I don't know why alpha 0. Oh, I do because I'm no longer using color.a. That's part of it.
And why
But
is it?
I don't understand why that brightens it. Yeah. Something about the way we're doing lighting, I think. I don't know.
That is such a mystery. Gosh.
I do want to do the version where we see through though, because I do think it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So the line thing is funny because you're going to be drawing the. So this is an interesting trade-off. If we do the barycentric coordinate option version,
Mhm.
the back lines aren't getting rendered, which is actually an inefficiency. If we do the line geometry thing, we no longer have a notion of back faces and front faces, so the back lines are getting rendered, right? So that is an
Mm.
inefficiency.
Mhm.
So there's all different kinds of trade-offs, but it sounds like the conclusion that we're coming to is that we do need to figure out some post-processing scheme
Mhm.
that essentially finds all of our edges that we need to eliminate by doing normal comparison between adjacent triangles,
Yep.
and then either emitting lines that are the, what do you call the set of things that are not the thing that you're talking about? Whatever the difference is between all of the edges and the edges that are shared. We'll emit lines for all of those and just use completely separate geometry. That's the X-Wing demos technique. Or we can use the technique that you just proposed, where we keep the same model and then we just add an attribute that's for any edge that has, for any vertex that has an edge we want to eliminate, we'll set the attribute value to 1. Or we set the attribute value to 0 because it'll be 1. Whatever it is, we just need the opposite of that. Hey, we got our first Twitch chat spam from DQQ. No, we've had spam people.
We've had a lot of Twitch chat, Sam, but I do not want to become famous by followers, primes, or viewers.
Bigfollows.com.
So pass. I
CLCK.ru seems like a legit domain.
Absolutely. I gotta say, what I really fucking love is how this message clearly is flagged by Twitch. So they ran it through one of those like we're gonna fuck up your text websites to just like drop every character they could in between the characters.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Is
Looks pretty
RU, what is
cool.
RU? Is that Russia? I thought Russia's RS.
Um,
Romania?
Romania, Russia. Let's Russian
Russian
Federation.
Federation. What's
What's
RS?
RS?
Serbia. Gosh, I had no idea. Oh, because it's like the Republic. The Republic of Serbia, something like that.
Okay.
Cool.
I really love the Serbian National Internet Domain Registry, which is
Oh,
definitely not our NIDS, but like,
that font.
uh-huh. That's a delight.
Do you notice how all Japanese games have the same font for English lettering? Like the Nier Automata font, it's like the same font.
Hang on. What? Text.
Yeah, like the UI text. It's like the same font that every Japanese game has.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, that one. The one before. This sans serif.
This interesting.
It's like every Japanese game uses that exact same font.
Well, good news. Someone posted this to a font forum to be like, what font is this?
Oh.
We can answer. It looks like Arial.
Does it look like Arial?
It's not Arial. Oh, there you go. Look at this, Jeff. You called it. I mean, you knew it, of course, but like, that's really cool.
You can find it in newer Pokemon games, PS2 menu. Yeah, it's kind of Rodin.
I bet PS2's system menu is like,
that's probably where it comes from.
It's like burned into your head. Yeah.
It was like the NES font. Like the NES characters are now like indelibly. Does PlayStation 4 have this font? Maybe we're just not recognizing what's in front of us all the time.
Oh, great question. No, they're
using Helvetica Neue.
Looks like it.
I didn't know that. You know what it is? They've succeeded. I don't even pay attention to the font in their UI.
Yep. Which Helvetica Neue is really, really good at, actually.
It's good. Yeah. I mean, what was the year that everything became Helvetica Neue? Didn't Apple switch to that as the default font for a long time?
For a minute,
before San Francisco and post regular Helvetica, right?
Yeah, I was gonna guess like 2010.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because that was about the time that I started to feel bad that I couldn't afford this font.
Because yeah, this is 2015.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet 2010.
That was when they chucked it. 2015.
2015 is when San Francisco showed up in iOS 9. Yeah.
San Francisco's good.
Oh, I do like San Francisco.
I kind of want to change our website text of San Francisco. Is that too generic?
No. You got to do the whole stack where it turns into. Oh God, I can hear myself. Fuck. Go away. You have to do the thing where we have a.
You're fun to listen to, Dom. You got to tell yourself.
Oh no!
That.
Oh, it's just like hearing myself while I'm trying to talk is really hard. 15 seconds delay.
Yeah.
I like my stream voice now. It's I blame the microphone.
Yeah.
But we need to fall back because San Francisco's max only.
Yeah.
Only cool kids club.
Lotto is maybe too close to my heart at this point because I think for a long time Slack was in Lotto, and I think it's a good user interface font, but not a good prose font. LATO.
Okay. Oh, Lato, of course. Yeah.
Sorry, is it Lato?
I don't know. It's how I pronounce it, but Lotto is exactly as potentially correct.
Okay. You say
Lotto.
Tomato and I say tomato.
iPhone was the one. Yeah. Which I remember the iPod used Chicago, which was great. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Classic.
Chicago was a good font. I like that one.
The whole the click wheel was great. That was good interface. It was good.
The click wheel was really, really good. We will be so lucky again someday. Well, to DQWERTY 2551, I'm just going to mark you as spam.
What an honor to be marked as spam from the Dominic DeGrati.
Just doing my part.
Yeah.
A good citizen, not throwing any coups, just marking spam bots.
Boy, what a shitty fucking world we live in. Now we're just like things are falling apart. We're just trying to get by. We're just trying to draw cubes with wireframes without lines in the middle. That's all we want from the world right now.
That is all I want. Yeah, no. Monday was this week when we went back to work after the holiday. You had an outage on Monday. That was still this week. That was
hours ago.
I would have sworn that was last week if you'd asked me. So yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I tell you the story already? I had a moment where I was like, did I cause this? Is this something I did?
No. Oh no. You didn't, right? Couldn't have been you.
Uh, it was not me. Spoiler alert. Hopefully that's not violating my any SEC regulations. The outage on Monday was not me. Um, I don't know. These failures are very complicated. That's not an excuse. That's not like saying my company was the subject of a sophisticated cyber attack, and I am not using the word complicated in the same way that people use sophisticated when they talk about breaches. Um, I there's not ever one reason why these things fail. I think it's always
No,
like
and
a
there's
sequence
it's
of
like the
a cascade of complex things that interact poorly.
yeah, and the bigger the system gets, like, gosh, if it ever fully trips over itself, it's a lot of work to put those pieces back together.
Yeah, yeah.
But you thought it was you.
I always I always have that because I'm not even working on the back end in any major way, but like I've touched things on the back end
Mhm.
that under the right circumstances could cause a particular resource to become exhausted, right? Like
Mhm.
the surface area of an app as complicated as Slack is just really really big.
Totally.
With
Uh,
great features come great failure modes.
I'm glad it wasn't you, because yeah, that's definitely, I have that fear as
It
well.
would have ruined my year,
Here,
I
here,
think. Yeah.
that would have ruined. Here's the tweet from yesterday to just sum up the whole thing.
Good lord. Good lord. I kind of
Yeah,
know, I kind of know why Elon wants to go to Mars. He just wants to like sit in peace on a rock.
let him go.
Yeah.
Just be free, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, we did it.
Yeah, we did
and
it.
and we have two paths forward, and actually I think which one we pick depends on artistic direction, so that's great.
That's good. Yeah, I think we should
Yeah.
just pick one and roll with it
Mhm.
and figure out the best way of doing that. If it's post processing, the complex thing is the common edge detection, anyways, and what the outcome of that is kind of.
Mhm.
Uh,
I will say I'm kind of thinking of, if we do the triangle and wireframe aesthetic, like, I like seeing the triangles filled in.
yeah, I don't think it. I think the version that creates a second line mesh doesn't eliminate this possibility because
Oh, because we could just render the other mesh inside of
we
it.
have to anyways to get the Z buffer in there. Otherwise, you're going to see through you're going to see the
Uh,
because that's how we eliminate the back lines is that we render the other mesh. So we have a
oh,
lot
I
of
see.
choices.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
think the thing that might help the barycentric argument is if we can do anything else with that parameter as well, right? Is there anything cool we could do with it?
Hmm. Yeah. Good question.
We could do cool. We could do cool effects with the edge lines if we do the barycentric thing. Because if we use the derivative thing, we could basically anti-alias a different way, or we could do like a
Hmm.
flare effect or something like that.
Oh man, can we do, like, would that help us do bloom shading? Because I really want to do some, like, glowy lines.
Uh, uh, I,
I
I
think
have
that's
no
just we do.
idea. Yeah, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. Great. Great.
But look at my lines on the ground behind me, right? They're kind of neon-y.
Yeah. Like, I feel like your background is the aesthetic that I am suddenly, like, have been slowly turning my mind towards
Have
as we
I
do
been
this.
poisoning you this entire time?
Quite possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Oh man, a friend just sent me a text that was like, "Hey, Math for Game Devs is now a new series I just found on YouTube."
Yeah, but they're jerks. Those guys. Math for game
Are
devs.
they?
No, I don't know. I was just. Um,
Snap judgment.
no, I'm just defending our turf here, Dom.
Oh, I mean, I was just like, I'm gonna go watch this person's, oh god, 3 hour vector dot product thing.
You know, it's
I
a
should probably
really
watch. I should
yeah
watch these someday.
yeah. You know, it's a really good linear algebra refresher. Is do you know the series Three Blue One Brown?
No.
This particular gentleman works for Khan Academy now. It's a
Nice.
stable income, but I think it's actually like constraining his output. But
Hmm.
he has a great video on quaternions. He's just this like genius math explainer, and is just he writes his own. He has his own like custom Python library.
Oh, that's wild. Okay, yeah, I
And can
like
just
this.
basically do. He does these awesome 3D animations that help you visualize this stuff, and he talks about why the dot product works the way it does, why the
Hmm.
cross product works the way it does.
I like that these are 15 minutes and not 3 hours too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I would recommend maybe hopping on this train first,
yeah, I'm gonna.
if this is not enough for you, you can indulge in our mortal enemies, math
Our
for
Mortal
game
Enemies Math for Game Devs.
math for game devs. Yeah.
Woof. That's okay. We can fight them too. We can fight any YouTuber we want.
Yeah, we're gonna fight him in
'Cause
Manchester. We're
that's
gonna
how we
jack
settle
in.
disputes. Settle our disputes on the grid.
Yes, yes.
Ah, well, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Excellent.
click the stop stream
Excellently
button.
done. We did some
I'm gonna
math.
click it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna click it.
Goodbye.
Dumb. I'm gonna click it.
Click it. Click it
All right, I'm
faster.
gonna click it now.
I can still see the stream.
All right, I clicked it. No, I'm gonna click it. Yeah, I'll click it right now.